On my phone last week, so it was such a good episode last week. Even Zoya was like, "That was a great episode." All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Green Room. We're going back to our old ways today. So
back to the basics.
Back to basics.
Is what I called it on my
Facebook. Back to some local politics and back.
You know what though? We were talking about off before when I walked in. You and Don were talking about, what your cousins in Switzerland.
Yeah, in Switzerland. We were just saying, like everybody. We're going to talk about propaganda. So we're
going to talk about bureaucracy, propaganda.
So propaganda, America's good at it too. We spin everything. Yeah. So everybody's like, well, this is the greatest country on earth. We are a great country, but guess what? There are a lot of countries that are even greater. And we were talking about my cousin. He made a choice with his family to raise his family in Switzerland. He's a banker. He went there almost, I think actually 20 years ago. His sons grew up there. His children grew up there. His wife is from Connecticut. He's from Chicago. Once their children out of college, I said, "Are you guys going to come back to the States?" And he said, "No." And then his children who used to spend summers here, they don't want to come back.
It's interesting.
They don't. They're like, why would we want to live in America? So,
when I grew up, Ruta, and we're not going to get the 66 joke out of the way early in this episode. I know. Well, my birthday is coming up in May, and we're close enough for me to make the joke almost every green up. No, but seriously, when I grew up, there was never anywhere that you would ever think that you would want to live but the United States of America. And I was an Ohioan. And in Ohio, we had a lot. We had industry. We had all the universities. We were the nuts, Boston, man. We really were. Boston.
Come on. We have Harvard. We have,
right. And now things have just been, just completely, the safety net in the country. Florida specifically, everybody, 49th in mental health funding. And
we're
things
last.
Like that.
We're last in schooling.
And let's go there because
we are. We're like last 3, I think, in school education.
And let's go there because listen, we just finished up the most horrendous Florida legislative session. Well, listen, I've only been here 7 years full time, but you have a lot more history.
I've been here 22 years, and it sucked this year.
No, just listen, and we're going to have the opportunity to go to Tiger Bay
next Thursday.
Next Thursday, which we pay to be members of, which means we can ask questions.
Yeah.
So they're going to be the legislative update. Right. And listen,
and they're going to have to answer for a lot of things that
I think the main general question they have to answer is, when are you going to do something for the constituents?
Never.
Okay.
Never. And honestly,
when are you going to address high price of housing right now? Solar power to the benefit of your constituents, not the solar power companies. You know what?
Women's rights.
Listen.
Cannabis patient rights. They are stripping rights left and right, and people need to wake up.
They're talking about coming back for a special session, Ruta. I saw a story on 8 last night. Believe it or not, to discuss open carry in the state of Florida. Okay, hang on. Well, there have been 3 recent states that have gone to open carry. They need to redo the district map, okay, because the governor's already said he's going to veto it. So they believe they are going to come back for a special session, but open carry.
That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue in Florida. Really?
You know what else they didn't do this year? They didn't take care of the condo safety laws after Surfside, the insurance crisis that a lot of people are facing.
Oh my God.
So there's so many issues besides the 700,000 medical cannabis patients. And listen, everybody, we had 7 bills or something like that all contain issues of importance to our patients. Okay.
And patients,
patients.
It's patients.
700,000 constituents and patients, Democrats, Republicans, white, black, old, young, poor, everybody, kids. Okay. And listen, if you can't even get our issues into a committee hearing. So here's my point, Ruta. Listen, job protections, my soapbox, my number one issue in this state. Legal adult use when it comes to Florida, and it will, number of years off. Everybody believe me, probably 4 to 6.
In Florida,
we know this.
Yeah, in the state of Florida, good luck with anything.
For sure, 4 to 6 years. But legal adult use for the holding of a medical card means nothing if you can still be drug tested at your workplace for a completely insignificant substance like THC in the urine. Impairment's impairment. We all know that, okay? But the point is that I want to get to is job protections is a multi-year discussion effort in Florida. If our bills aren't respected enough by the leadership, and what so disappoints me is that Representative Learned and Representative Roach, okay, worked together in a bipartisan fashion.
They did.
Which gave me somehow false hope, Ruta, that this is how this country works. And this, hang on, and this state works. But because Speaker Sprowls, okay, somehow didn't want any cannabis issue being discussed this year, okay, not one of our issues or concerns got a committee hearing. And why that's important is that I don't get a chance to go up and use my
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I was going with my soft but powerful voice.
I was going for the 30
seriously, when you can't get a committee hearing, then you don't even get the debate back and forth. Okay.
Well, they didn't want to hear it.
And it's wrong. It's wrong. And Representative Learned on one of the last nights, okay, was able to slip in the 7 issues, so to speak, as amendments. Okay. And I want to call out Representative Drake. Okay, specifically because he was the one whose bill it was. So he has to accept the amendments or as friendly or as unfriendly.
Oh my God, I hate that. This is everybody.
So Representative Learned, when he brought up his, and when you bring it up in an amendment fashion, the public, there's no public discussion, right? Yeah. So that trumps down all discourse. But anyway, on the second issue that Representative Learned brought up as an amendment, Representative Drake says, well, this one will be an unfriendly amendment, okay, and all the rest will be too. And the chuckles, okay, and I want to ask those representatives at Tiger Bay,
yes,
if they were chuckling. Were they having a good laugh too?
Do you have a good laugh when patients, are restricted, when teachers are getting, possibly punished for bringing up gay, lesbian issues?
A free veterans card for medical cannabis patients is a laughable issue to you?
Oh, it's disgusting. It was disgusting to me.
It really was. It was a bad session. And all we can do is rally to vote.
But this is the thing. I wish, and this is like, I'm appealing to people who listen to our show and the voters. You got to vote and vote these people out. You have the power to make change, and yet over and over and over again, the wrong people are sitting in these offices, and the wrong people are.
I don't know what it takes.
What does it take to move people? Your rights are being taken away, and they're still okay with it. And it's sad. Like, and let's get to. We're gonna get into a quick little.
I mean, a gas tax rebate right now would have been a great idea. Not in October, the month before the election.
Oh yeah, of course, everything's going to come before an election to get themselves.
The pandering up there this year to whatever agenda it was that the Republican Party felt they had to follow.
And if you're a vet, guess what? The pets got better treatment than the vets.
I think that bill ultimately got killed.
But still,
I know.
But the fact
at least they got a discussion.
At least they had a discussion on it. They had it over the veterans' rights. I mean, come on. Like, it's sickening. It's honestly, it's nauseating.
So really the show's about access, everybody.
And so here we are in Venice. Here we are. We have a practice of thousands of medical marijuana patients. Yet, in Venice, in their land development plan, buried in 700 pages of all kinds of laws and zoning, one of them is to have no medical marijuana dispensaries in the city of Venice.
Still.
And
continue. Let's get it in that zoning again.
Getting in that zoning. It's been on the books, and now if it stays for like 20 years.
What?
Like, things stay on the books there for like 20 years. They do not change these things very often.
So we did a little intel. We found out something was going on. I got to credit Patty to this.
And I had a very candid discussion with somebody yesterday, and There is going to be coming up in April an open session of the councilmen. One of the things we're going to ask, and we're going to send out an email to
So
all
this
our
is
patients.
Venice City Council.
But it doesn't matter. So this is the thing. If you are a resident of Venice, even in the outskirts of Venice, not city proper, but in the like in the county
island,
so to say, doesn't matter. If you are a Venice resident, in April, there will be a special session with the councilmen that will be open to the public. At that point, we are going to be asking every patient's family member to come out to this meeting. It's going to be sometime mid-April. We'll get you the date when it happens. In the meantime, we are going to be posting, and I'll be posting on my Facebook, every councilman's email and telephone number. And I want everybody listening to call and email the councilman individually. Because of sunshine laws, you cannot send out a general email to anybody because it's against the law. It has to go to each individual councilman and the mayor on this issue, saying why. Just ask why. Why is this even on the table? Why are you burying it in 700 pages? Why
Fortunately,
are you
we found out about it?
Yeah,
you know,
I can't discuss it now, but it's coming out, and it will be it will be outed by somebody. And the thing is, this person's passion is for the patient, because the person that I spoke to said Venice as a whole has a very elderly population. Sure. And if you're restricting, this is a medicine. It's not being taken as a recreational drug. People here, what's the median age? Like 70 something. People are taking this as medicine.
Well, the councilman should come to the clinic and sit here and watch what goes on. They're invited.
And
come on, guys.
Maybe we should extend that invitation individually on behalf of the clinic. I think we should.
It's been extended in the past, but we should revisit
but individually.
It.
No,
individually.
No, it's an individual. Phone call. It's an individual. I mean, everything's still a one-on-one relationship. And people, this is the only other thing that I have an issue with, like, even for like the commissioners and things, I really think it is important that people go out and do face-to-face when they have to look you in the eye. And when you bring your child or your grandmother who has cancer, who has, epilepsy, who has multiple sclerosis, and you bring them and you make them face your family member, I think that is the most powerful thing, because to them, everything's obscure. They're like, oh, it's cannabis. Oh, it's cannabis. Oh, it's marijuana. We don't want that in the city of Venice. Well, some of our patients live in the city of Venice. And for some of them, it's very difficult for them to get out of bed. It's very difficult for them to go to a dispensary that's not in the city. And sometimes they don't even have a ride to get there. Sure. So why are you restricting access of medical marijuana and medicine? This is medicine. Are you going to say to CVS, I'm sorry, you can't be in the city of Venice? I don't think so. So why are you restricting patients' rights? And I think, again, as soon as we have the date,
there's going to be people at the meeting. No, there's history to it. When Trulieve came to Venice, unincorporated Sarasota County, of course, over the line. No, seriously, we've always been banned on the island, to the extent of dispensaries, and it's been a burr, in my butt. And listen, it's not just here, as everybody knows, not everybody, of course. Collier County, okay, which is the entire city of Naples, okay, the entire Collier County is still banned from having, dispensaries. So that's why local politics is
so very
matters.
Important. It does matter. So this is one thing for this.
So there's going to be people at that meeting. Believe me, we had a meeting here when Trulieve wanted to move in, and we offered our space for the county commissioner. This is Sarasota County, to come down and hear our patients' concerns. So
and did the county commissioners come?
They did. And we had a meeting here, and Trulieve sent their representatives, and of course it resulted in, that. Truly, right, for sure. And listen, we're going to have some more in unincorporated Sarasota County, but that's not the point.
That's not the point.
Okay,
this is
not
the point. This is for the city, and for
absolutely,
and for the city commissioners to be okay with restricting.
Well, they need to understand.
I think they don't understand, and
they don't.
And I think the problem is it's lack of education. But again,
I'd like to call Representative Buchanan, quite frankly, and perhaps Senator Gruters, and ask them their opinions on it, because as you know, they've been here. as you know, they've been here. They know what we do.
They can't because it's a good. I mean,
is it a sunshiner type of thing? I know
because it
gets so complicated.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you can't because it's a city.
But we'd love to get the support of everybody. Okay, who is a leader and a decision maker. I think they can make their comments, to the extent that there shouldn't be municipalities, that are getting in the way of a state legal program.
It's a state legal
program.
That
makes sense to me.
And this is the issue. It is a state legal program. The state of Florida has okayed it. Why now is the city forbidding it? And then the only other issue on that. Okay, so calling in Representative Grutter, Senator Grutter's Representative Buchanan, or Fiona, any of these people, they all voted down they didn't even want to hear it. They were right there with every bad decision Tallahassee did. And these people voted against you.
It was so disappointing.
Point blank. And listen, we're friendly on a outside level of the practice. We get together, we're still
you have to call it like you see it.
Call it like you see it. I'm sorry. These people can say one thing to your face and then go right in the night with the knife right behind you, and they're not going to represent you. And they prove they haven't represented you. So this is in Venice. In Sarasota, we have a whole other ball game going on. Next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., I'm asking again, everybody listening, especially our Ukrainian or Eastern Europe friends, to come to Sarasota County at 1600 Ringling Boulevard at 9 a.m. We're blue and yellow for Ukraine. We are going to be addressing the commissioners individually. You'll get 3 minutes to speak. And what we are going to be addressing is the Economic Development Committee of Sarasota, the EDC, has received and is funding Longboat, company by the name of Rumble, to set up an account in a house or a business in Longboat Key.
Post office box, or
no, they are funding it for the building itself at $825,000 of our tax dollars, our money, the money you and I, everybody out there pays to taxes, is going to Rumble. And Rumble, if you just Google it, you can take a look at what they are. They are an outlet for all of the disenfranchised people of this planet, especially Russia. And right now, because Russia, the platforms in Russia have all been shut down. You cannot get on Instagram. You cannot get on Google. Who are they going to? Rumble. And so now if you look at what the propaganda machine has been pumping out, like against Ukraine and Russia, it's horrific. If you don't take a look at RT News. That's a Russian network. Just take a look at the propaganda that's on there. Rumble is behind it. Our Sarasota County commissioners have to be held accountable as to why they were okay with this $825,000 of our money going to Rumble, a direct Russian propaganda machine, and the outrage that every citizen, and especially, I'm sorry, if you're Ukrainian or you're Polish or you're any Slavic country, any American should be outraged.
Well, I was going to say American, but I didn't want to interrupt you because you were on such a great role.
But every
I'm disgusted by it, Ruta.
Disgusting. 820 to Russia.
And the thing is, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what Rumble is. And Don's sitting over there. You tell me the implications of it, because he's kind of our media guy. I don't even want to put like Rumble into my phone, right? Because you know what happens if you do that? Then all of a sudden you're going to start to get all this.
You're going to get all this crap.
We're not controlled by the.
No, but the thing is, like, this is the thing with Rumble.
No, it's crazy.
So Rumble, if you take a look at Rumble's roots, they're rooted in Fox.
Let's just call out. Let's call out the individuals.
We're going to call out Christian Ziegler. We are, and I'm personally at the meeting. I am going to address Christian Ziegler one-on-one. I will, because he is the main man behind this Rumble initiative. He is the main man behind a lot of things with Rumble. So he is known to be in support of Donald Trump, of Breitbart. of Flynn. He's an outspoken person. These people in Flynn,
they have not gone away.
They have
this
not.
is percolating.
Flynn is in Longboat Key. Guess where Rumble's going? Longboat Key. Guess who's funding it? Christian Ziegler and the commissioners of Sarasota County. And they will have to be accountable for this. And for every
I had a patient the other day, Ruta. I had to walk out of the room. I had a patient the other day that told me that what we were seeing,
but send it to Russia, not even Ukraine.
That what we were seeing on TV is nothing more than them demoing buildings, okay, in Ukraine so that they can rebuild.
Yes.
That there is no war.
Oh yeah, there's no war. Oh no,
and I try never to let anything get in the way of taking care of a patient, and I don't. But I ended the visit relatively quickly.
At that point, you know what I would really offer, and I'm going to offer.
I wanted to ask her what are you watching?
Oh, is it OAN or is it Hannity or somebody?
What?
But the people, and even our county commissioners, I really am going to challenge them, and I will be willing to put it on my American Express and pay for them to go on a one-way ticket to Russia. Let them go see what they're funding, and let them go see the way of life of Russia. Because if they're funding it, they have no freaking clue what it's like over there. They have no freaking clue what Putin's like. Or they should go on the front lines in Ukraine if they're so defending democracy. Well, you're funding the opposition. You're funding the opponent. You're funding Satan and Putin. He's another Lenin. And yet you have all these idiots in Sarasota County saying, let's fund Rumble. Are you freaking out of your tree? I mean, seriously, this is like outrageous beyond belief. And the fact that they're funding it with my dollars, your dollars, Don, every single person's dollar is going in to fund this. I want them to answer, and they're going to have to answer loud and clear that day, because trust me, the voices.
Oh, they'll pull some administrative nonsense.
Oh, they're going to let them, because this time it will go to the polling machines. And trust me, the funding that's going to go out to against every single commissioner on this election cycle against them, showing that they are directly having hands on blood of the Ukrainians and in the propaganda of the American, Ukrainian, Baltics are going to go straight for the jugular on this one. And trust me, these people will, I hope every single one of them is voted out of office for this. And it's going to take dollars, and we're going to be doing fundraising, but we're going to get messaging out against every single one with a knife holding blood on every single one of our county.
When does the next election come up?
Elections, the election cycles are different. So this year, this year, 3 of them are going to be actually up. Christian Ziegler is going to be up in District 2.
How about Mayo?
Mayo is actually termed out. So is Dietert.
Wow.
So they're actually on terms.
Because Mayo's been so anti-cannabis, of course, and
Mayo's
everything else progressive, everything.
Please, the man thought he could get away with calling his constituents unlearned and illiterate, and we couldn't understand the English language. Yeah, well, so did Mayo. So these people are on the same level, and they all are disgusting. How they sleep at night is beyond me, because they must have the conscience of Putin.
And the Ukrainians on the front lines right now of freedom and democracy.
They really are
on the front lines. And everything that we can do to support them, we need to do. Yes. And I'm so fascinated.
And a shout out, honestly, one to Dr. Berry for opening his clinic.
Going towards our patients.
No, but the first thank you is to you. This past Saturday, we had a drive. We posted pictures on Facebook. The turnout was amazing from our patients, from people on Facebook that just came out that had heard something. I have to give a shout out to several pharmacies. There's Bradenton Pharmaceuticals, there's a Sarasota Discount, in Englewood and Northport and Venice. There's 3 other pharmacies, and I will name them next week. Collectively, they've given $500,000 worth of drugs to Ukraine. You're talking antibiotics, wound care.
And this is what they need.
And this is what they need. But these pharmacies have stepped up.
That's
these
incredible.
Pharmacies, it's incredible. Today, in fact, right after I get off of work today, I have to head down to Northport. A pharmacist called me. He said he has 5 huge boxes of antibiotics ready to go, and this is from they're writing it,
and they're
off.
Getting there. That's
and they're getting there. This is the thing. Shout out to Victoria Warren. Victoria, she's Ukrainian, up in Sarasota. the medicines that we got last week from the pharmacies, they went on a plane, they went to a hospital directly in Ukraine. They received, the doctors got it. So thank you.
Awesome. That I did not even
Yes,
know.
this one they didn't even put on the ship. She had a friend who took it through Poland, directly into a hospital. It's the doctors are using the meds. So the same shipment right now that we're getting, I was in touch with, I spoke with Victoria yesterday. We're hoping to get it on a plane and do the same thing with this shipment. It's going directly into Ukraine. So shout out. It takes a village.
It does.
It does.
And that's what's so unique about this war. I was going to say conflict. No, it's a genocidal war.
It's a genocidal.
But that there is that degree of travel, still that people are getting in and out. Striking are the images of people going back into Ukraine now.
They are. People are going back.
But listen, there was such a miscalculation. Freedom is freedom. Once you get the taste of freedom, to have that taken away.
No, it's your country. I mean, and this is the thing, you defend your country. And on a global level, like, and this is the thing, like America has a lot of blood on its hands. It does. We've invaded country after country. I mean, us going into Iraq, Afghanistan, we've gone in and we've caused chaos. So when people are like, why do like the Muslim countries hate us? Well, we invaded them. So they hate us as much as the Ukrainians hate Russia. So like, you got to look at the mirror, because we have a bad mirror on ourselves too. But the thing is, once people defend themselves, you defend the land that is yours. It's your right to. If somebody invaded America, we are going to take up arms. And America, I have to, one thing, we have gun laws and things, and people protest the guns. But in fact, even to take arms against our own government, should that day ever arise, it is wise to have these laws and these protections that we have a right to actually defend ourselves, even in the sense of like going into Ukraine. Ordinary people, it's against the law to carry weapons there. Here, at least, like, we might laugh and joke and, not even joke, but take seriously the people that purchase like these almost military grade rifles. God forbid the day come in this country where we would have to defend ourselves. At least our citizens, many of them would be armed. And that's that sadly to say, but it's a plus. It is. And in a war case situation, not where you're having idiots go shoot up children in a school. But to defend their country. But the thing is, I think for us going forward as a country and as citizens, I think it awoke a sleeping giant for everybody of unity. You have those outliers like that one woman who didn't think there was a war going on, who's nuts, to be honest. There's no other way to say it. But the only thing is, everybody else sees how much passion the Ukrainian people have, how much, like, truly they're dying for their country. They're going to die for their children to have freedom and not live under a Russian flag. They're dying that they're going to keep their culture and their language. Putin, in the meantime, doesn't care. He's destroying hospitals. He's destroying landmarks. Nothing is sacred. There was an interesting post last week in Ukraine, in museums in Kyiv, and in Kyiv, people were taking priceless artwork and trying to bury them into bunkers to preserve the art, because you cannot replace it. Once it's destroyed, that's it. And you have thousands of, America's new. America's a couple hundred years old. You're talking, these countries have been around for thousands of years. This region is around for thousands of years. So when you take some of the architecture and you take the art and you it's just, and Putin's just blasting it away. He didn't care that there's children written on a building. He was blowing it up. I mean, it's
completely indiscriminate.
It is.
And listen, it's like pulling teeth to have him called a war criminal. And I guess I get that to a certain extent, but listen, to throw him into the Hague and,
well, you have to first he has to leave the country. And if he's never going to leave the country, the Hague has no power. And then America, okay, Biden did a big show of like, Putin is a war criminal. Yeah, good for you saying that. One, you have no jurisdiction over the Hague. Two, you have no jurisdiction in the International Justice League. The United States is not part of it. Second, we're not.
So we'll see what goes on in the NATO,
thing,
meetings next couple
the only thing that you can hope, they're all going to be doing a rah-rah session for themselves. And I have friends in NATO, and the diplomats are all there, and they're reporting already. It's going to be a big cheerleading side for NATO. Meanwhile, for Ukraine, you know what? Like, here's NATO, like, woo, 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 woo. and then they're going to be like, okay, Ukraine, you're still on your own. So, NATO needs to get off its ass and stop kissing butt to Putin. I understand the Russians, they're tied to the Europeans are tied to Russia. They are. Their oil and their gas lines and their grains and so many other products come from Russia that they're scared, because if they get in a fight with Putin one-on-one, they know Putin's going to shut them off. And so, because Putin doesn't give a crap. And honestly, for the balls of Putin, he does have them.
But the suffering economically of Europe would be such a small percentage compared to the suffering of the dying people in Ukraine. So Europe may have to take a little bit of a hit.
Okay, here. But you know what? Listen to
But it's easy for us to say
because the United States freaking couldn't even do it. Come on, and Biden, he doesn't do it.
Societies are weak these days, Ruta. We need strength. Our
society. Come on, Biden is such a wuss. I'm sorry, but he is. He's so politically not wanting to offend Putin. So finally, he's like, okay, he's a war criminal. He's so scared of Putin. It's like not.
Well, that's why, nobody wants this to happen, but there's going to be a stray missile. He's going to use chemical weapons and the cloud's going to go into one of the NATO countries. Something's going to happen. And I just say this, we're on a 3 to 4 week to 3 to 4 month to 3 to 4 year razor wire right now, but we can't be afraid. We can't be afraid.
There was a really, really good cartoon put out yesterday, and it spoke volumes. There was a picture of Osama bin Laden in the manhunt from the United States of a man who, quote unquote, hands were responsible for the 3,000 lives that were lost. You have Putin on the other side, who has committed genocide with the Georgians, with the Chechens, since he's been in office, yet the world is quiet about him. This man, bin Laden, was labeled a terrorist and enemy of the people of the world. Putin has not been named the same, and they don't have drones tracking where he is. They don't want to take him out. It's crazy. If you look at the parallels, why is that? And everybody needs to look at this character. It's money. It is. It's greed and it's money. Bin Laden controlled the oil. He controlled a lot of things. His family is well-to-do. And yet he was made to be the biggest war criminal of all time. No, he's not. You have Putin, who truly is another Lenin, another Stalin, another Hitler, and yet his worldview, people are like, Putin's bad. Yeah, he's bad. No, he's not. He's a terrorist. He literally is a terrorist.
Well, we had a former president call him a genius too.
Yes, and our former president
for calling, that he was going in on a peacekeeping mission. Okay, so listen, it's all propaganda, as you opened the show with.
It's propaganda, and it is propaganda. And so, like I said, I don't know how much time we still have. We're 3
minutes over already. How can that be?
So please, you guys, I'm gonna on next Tuesday come to 1600 Ringling about the propaganda machine of Rumble. Please be there at 9 a.m. You have 3 minutes. Fill out a card. You have 3 minutes to address the commissioners one-on-one. After that, look out for April. If you live in Venice, that you want an MMTC, a medical marijuana dispensary put somewhere in Venice City.
And we're allowed to MailChimp out to our patients about the meeting and all that,
yes, absolutely, we can. This is public.
It's important, everybody. It's one of the places we can make a stand.
We can.
And we can make a difference. So,
So everyone pray for peace. I know it's not coming anytime soon, but pray for the people of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.
See you next week.
See you next week.